welcome to another Cheeky Girl Creation DIY video. So today I will be doing a sketch, and you can see I just showed you the pencil I'll be using, which is by Staples and is an HB pencil. And I'll also be using a mannequin. And one of those is a Derwent mannequin that I got in a sketch kit like years ago, I think for my 10th birthday. And the other one is by, I think, Crawford and Blacks, because that one is from The Works. And I'm sorry that the rain's coming down. I hope you can hear me very well, so I'll try to speak up. So at first I thought I would do like a kind of upper body sketch, and she's supposed to be as if it was like at her coronation or something. So it was supposed to be like you can see her, then like the crowd behind her, but then you'll see that changes very quickly. And she's supposed to be one of 3 races. So hers, and I don't know what to call them yet, so I'm just going to try to describe them as simply as possible. So hers is supposed to be like the holder of lights, like of the light, sorry, and they have wings. And if you have like an idea what I can call her, please feel free to put in the comments, because I have no idea what I should call her. And then they're supposed to be humans, and then they're supposed to be like these kind of like dark creatures who are like the bad guys, and her species, her like race is like the leaders of the land, and the dark ones want to kind of like overthrow them. So in this like world I've kind of made up, you'll see quite a few different sketches to go with it. I'm thinking my next sketch will be the like dark creatures. I really want them to kind of be like kind of creepy and really like elongated and kind of look like they're like dead skeleton gross things, but not exactly. So you'll see in the video, you can see I'm being very technical with my description there. So this is part 1, by the way, because there's so many hours of this process. I'm not even finished yet. So I thought it would be best for me to split it into 2 parts, just so that you guys don't get bored. So you could just watch it now and then watch the next part later. And I'm just trying to get all the proportions right, following the mannequin. I haven't sketched in like forever, so I'm extremely out of practice, and I thought this year I've really got to brush up on my sketching skills, because it's getting ridiculous. And I want to like do Inktober this year, and I've just constantly been avoiding it because I don't feel confident enough to like sketch with pen or anything like that, because I'm using like pencil and rubber at the moment, because I keep on making so much mistakes. It's useful to use a rubber, so I don't have all these lines that aren't supposed to be there. And I was supposed to be doing a couple like quick sketches, but it's just turning into a really long process. So I'm just running with it really. And at the moment, I'm trying to figure out how to do her wings. And you'll see earlier on, they kept on looking like butterfly wings, and I didn't want that. I wanted something like an eagle. And first I thought that the wing shouldn't be like the top of the wing shouldn't be like where the top of her head starts. But then I'm doing like this little sketch just to kind of figure out where I want everything. And then I saw that really the top of the wings being like at the top of her head wasn't a bad thing at all. And it then allowed me to make the wings as big as I wanted, because I mean, like to make a human fly, you would need some pretty big wings to lift you. So her wings are like they start at the top of her head, and like are dragging on the floor just a little bit. So they're very, very long. And by the end of this, you'll see that I'm trying to make her look like a warrior. So I want her to look really strong. So I don't want like her arms and her legs to be like too like thin and not like muscly enough. I want it to look like she's a strong, powerful warrior. And you can see I was like struggling with those feet there, and I'm just trying to get everything in proportion, which is why nothing's like very exact. And I've never drawn feet or hands, so you'll see me do that for the first time in the video, like later on. But at the moment, I'm just putting everything in, trying to get the proportions right, so that I can add detail later. And you can see lots of rubbing out and lots of putting back in and lots of rubbing out and lots of putting back in, which is why I've sped it up quite a lot. I didn't want to speed it up too much because I wanted you guys to see what I was doing so you wouldn't be like too lost. But if you do want to speed it up, I think if you click on the gear, you can like speed up the video like 2 times its speed if you just want to be able to watch it quickly, and that'll make the video shorter as well. But I did want you guys to be able to see what I was doing. So I'm just kind of moving that little sketch over because just to kind of use as a reference later on, because I will have to rub out the initial one I did before because it's in the way of her left wing. And you can see every now and again, you can see me measuring with my fingers or with my pencil whether the proportions look right. And you can see there I'm taking a photo to upload to Instagram. And Instagram and my Facebook group are both great places to be able to see all the behind the scene photos of what's going on, whether it's behind the Checiegirl Creations business or just me trying out something like personally that's creative. And on my Insta stories, you see a lot of behind the scenes as well, even more than my Instagram page. So please do follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and definitely like my page as well. And on my Facebook group, you can also share all your arty adventures because I would love to see what you guys get up to, especially if one of you have one of the mixed media subscription boxes. I would love to see what you guys create with that. And the March one is available. There's still a couple left to pre-order, so I'll link that below, and I'll also link in an iCard to the previous boxes unboxing videos so that you can see what's in it if you are interested in getting one of those as well. And all of those links are in the description. So now I am sketching in the feathers, and you'll see basically I do it on one side and I mirror it on the other, just like step by step. And the first 2 rows were quite easy. I wanted the feathers to kind of kick out a little bit because since they're not just hanging down because they do like touch the floor, I figured that the feathers might kick out just a little bit because they are being like bent a little bit while she's standing up there. So the first 2 rows were nice and easy. But then afterwards, I had to start from the top with the rest of the feathers because I was getting a bit confused, which is also why this is taking so long because I've never really done anything like this before. And just trying to figure out how everything should lay out and how big or small I should make something in proportion to her. It's just taken a while, and you can see that the lighting isn't at the best at the moment because I'm getting so much into the sketch that I'm going into like the sun to set, and the lighting isn't as great anymore. And you'll see that throughout the video because I not even finished yet. I'm almost done. I just have a few things to do, like with her hands and stuff, just adding certain details. But I'm working on it bit by bit each day. I don't want to like sit through it all in one day because sometimes if you look at something for too long, you start to like add too much or take away too much, and it all starts to feel a bit like a hot mess. So you'll see I'm starting at the top there. And first I made the feathers point down, just completely down, but then I did make them kick out just a little bit, just to kind of like match the shape of the wing a little bit. And I am curving the top of each feather at the top there because I figured it wouldn't be just like a straight line. It's just a slight curve of each feather so it doesn't look just like I drew it with a ruler or something, trying to make it look as realistic as possible. And I'm just you'll see I struggle quite a bit with this one, but then after I do her right wing, I'm able to do the left one a lot faster. So you'll see first I'm just trying to follow just the outer line, but then I realize I do need the feathers to kick out just a little bit. And the lower they go, the more they kick out, like the closer they get to the floor. And you'll see that in a second because I'm just following the outer line there, but then I have to just kick it out a bit. And I'm really enjoying the process. I'm surprised myself actually because I've never drawn hands and feet and stuff. and I've never really drawn like a full body properly, really, like following all like these steps and stuff. So I've surprised myself a lot, and I'm really, really looking forward to finishing her and seeing how it's going, she turns out, because I'm loving how she looks at the moment, and I can't wait to draw like dark creatures as well. I think that'll be really fun because since everything's supposed to be like all elongated and stuff, it won't be like properly proportioned. If you see what it, if you see what I mean, they're supposed to look like really creepy and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to like sketching out like this world I've made and thought up. And if you are, please do like the video and comment below if you would like to see all the video processes of this, because I may not film all, but if you guys want me to film it, I will. And you can see I've kind of just hooked it down a little bit, those top ones, just to kind of, I didn't want them to be straight, if you see what I mean. They needed to have some kind of movement about them. So I'm putting down a paper towel to protect that the right side, because I realized that the side of my hand was getting all like black and with the graphite, so I didn't want to smudge it too much. And you can see I'm just kind of measuring with my pencil there, and I'm sorry for the camera going out of focus. It's really fussy with just white. It's irritating. So I'm also trying to not make the wings look too fat. So at the moment they're looking a bit fat, but I do figure that out a bit. And I do look at a couple different photos. I can't really remember where I got them all from. I'm not copying anybody exactly, but I'm just kind of looking, like I looked up wings to kind of see how the feathers lay, just to have a little bit of a reference. And like later on I'll look up like hands and stuff, just to kind of see what I'm supposed to be sketching. Because sometimes it's just really useful to have that reference photo there so that you know like what you're doing. And you can see I'm not holding the pencil like really low down. I'm holding it a little bit higher up so that my strokes are a little bit looser. Because if I held it like really low down, almost like the bottom of the pencil, I'll draw like too hard, because I don't want the lines to be too hard, because since I'm rubbing out quite a lot, and I also just want it all to be a little bit looser. I don't want it to be like too harsh. And I do want to add color to her, but I'm a little bit precious about this sketch. So once I'm finished, I will scan it in, kind of try to make her lines a little bit stronger maybe on the computer, and then I want to print it out on watercolor paper so that I can paint up most likely with watercolors. So you can see I skipped forward quite a bit. The camera cut off and I didn't realize while I was finishing that wing. I think it lost battery or something. So now I am starting to add details. So first I'm just adding to her face, and I will change up her face a little bit later on, especially like by her nose, because at the moment she looks slightly disgusted with what's ever going on, like ugh. You know. So I haven't added any hair yet, because I do want to add an afro, but I wasn't too sure like how big to make it. So at the moment I'm just rubbing out all those like guidelines, like all those like kind of circles where the joint should be, and I'm making her upper body a little bit more like slender, and because her shoulders and stuff are looking a little bit more like a man's, because they're so far out and a little bit too boxy, so I had to bring that in a little bit, while still trying to keep in mind that I'm trying to make her look like quite strong. So I don't want her arms to be too thin or anything, and you will see me like adding in, not making the lines too straight, like adding more of a curve to the lines so it looks like she's got like muscles and stuff. And I'm out of frame a little bit there. I do apologize for that, but I'm just literally rubbing out all the different guidelines. So she's starting to look a little bit more like a person. So you can see I rubbed out all those like hip joints and stuff. And I'm just rubbing it all out and just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic. And now I will start, I think, to make her legs. Yeah, that's it. I'm starting to try to make her legs look a lot stronger and muscular. And she's got such a big thigh gap. You won't notice once I put clothes on her. I was I was trying to close up a little bit because it looked a little bit odd, but it doesn't matter too much because she will have clothes on or more like armor on later on. And I'm making her body a little bit more curvier. I didn't want her to look too straight down because recently I've been watching some of the Winter Olympics and I quite like how like strong their like legs and thighs are, and I found their legs are just look so powerful, and I was trying to kind of get that look a little bit with her body shape, especially like waist down. I just really love that look of those strong legs. And you can see I'm still trying to figure out her shoulders. The shoulders I draw always seem to be very boxy, and I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic and not as well, just not as boxy really. It looks a bit like she's a swimmer, and she's not a swimmer. She's and now I'm just adding more detail to the arms and again the shoulder, and you see I've like kind of looked at the mannequin I have and measuring like what the shoulders look like to the head, and I'm doing that with my drawing so that I get everything in the right proportions, and I'm a lot happier with how it looks there. And you can see I'm just like, curving out the lines a bit and bringing it in like where the elbows are, and then kind of bringing it out a little bit because I don't have her here with any weapons, but I thought that in like maybe future sketches she might be holding a weapon or something, and the weapons wouldn't be light, they would be quite heavy, so she would need strong arms to hold them. And you can see I just have to keep on like touching up the feathers and stuff because I do rub them out while I'm adding all these details. And now I'm adding her afro, and it's a bit small there, but you'll see that I do make it a lot bigger um to because, well, a big afro is cool. Really, that was really the main reason. No other reason except for big afros are cool. And I also put in the fro there as well because her head was just looking so small to her shoulders, but then I figured with the hair it'll look a bit better, and it does. So now I'm just adding in like the shape of her breasts because I need to know how the armor would lie on her, and you'll see I'm going to start that now. And because I have that guideline there, I kind of know how to how it'll look, and I'm just putting in some very light lines of where I want the armor to go, um so I know like how long her skirt will be and how long like her bodice will be and that kind of stuff. And I'm taking another work in progress picture. I thought I would just leave that in just so that you guys can see that, in the process I do take photos and stuff to share with you guys, especially since it's always interesting to just kind of know what's going on. And I'm adding like some patterns of how her armor will be. I'm just trying to like figure out how everything will lie, and you'll see that the bodice I got like really quickly, that like came together nicely, but then her skirt on the other hand not so much, so you'll see me making some mistakes here. I thought I would try to make it a little bit like the feathers, but then I was like, maybe not, it looks weird, so I changed that to make it look a lot more angular, and you'll see me fix that in a bit. But first I just have to kind of rub out the top of her legs and hips and stuff, because just to be able to add the clothes. And I'm trying to make the armor just a little bit bigger, like not too much because of course you don't want the armor to be baggy, but just a little bit more so it looks like it's armor and not like part of her. And you can see I'm rubbing in, rubbing out, adding, and now I'll start to get what I want a little bit more. And I'm a little bit out of frame there, so I apologize for that. I keep on getting into the process a bit too much and completely forgetting that I'm actually filming. So like I'm putting the curve, so it's like following the curve of her body, but then it all like adds up to a point at the bottom. I thought that would look quite cool. like nice sharp edges, so not too curvy, like because all her feathers are nice and curved and everything, and of course her body doesn't have any sharp edges, so I thought that parts of her armor would have quite sharp edges. And you can see that comes down kind of low, just it stops, the point of the middle of the like skirt stops at the just above the knee. And I know you're probably thinking that a skirt like in war and stuff isn't probably the most great idea, but I thought it would be too boring to just give her like pants. So I went with a skirt. And now I'm adding like a piece of armor to the bottom of her legs, so to her calves. And I thought I would do that on her arms as well, but I changed my mind because I thought maybe it could be kind of coordinating. So she has one on her calves and she has one on like the lower part of her arms. But then I decided against it, to just leave her arms bare except for these like kind of shoulder pad kind of armor parts that I'll add in a little bit. I'm adding it now. So I'm just trying to just add all these details and stuff. I left like the shape of her breast there and just kind of just connected it really for her armor. I thought that just was perfect there. And you'll see that I rubbed out those lines in like the bodice part, but then decided to add them back just a little bit differently. And as you can see that we are coming to the end of the video, so if you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell so you can get notified of future videos. And stay tuned for part 2. It should be coming up soon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again in another arty video. Bye!